Welcome everyone, join us today as we honor the life and legacy of Michael Hutchence, the magnetic frontman of INXS, whose charisma, voice, and stage presence made him an icon of Australian rock and beyond. So let's dive in. Michael Kellan John Hutchence, born the 22nd of January 1960, in Sydney, Australia. Michael was born at the Mater Misericordiae Hospital in North Sydney, to businessman Kellan Frank Hutchence, known as Kel, and makeup artist Patricia Glassop. He had a half-sister Tina, from his mother's first marriage, and later a younger brother Rhett. The family lived in a comfortable English-style cottage in Lane Cove, designed and built by Kel's parents in 1926. In 1964, when Michael was 4, Kel's work with a large Australian trading company took them to Hong Kong, where they settled into an apartment on Old Peak Road with sweeping views of the harbour. He attended Glenelly Kindergarten before moving on to Beacon Hill Primary School when the family relocated to Kowloon Tong. A strong swimmer trained by an ex-Olympian, Michael won numerous races and medals until a bad fall left him with a broken arm, ending his promising swimming career. Turning his attention to creative pursuits, he developed a love of poetry and music, making his first recording at the age of 8 for a local toy company. The family returned to Sydney in 1972, settling in Belrose, where Michael attended Killarney Heights High and became friends with Andrew Farriss. The two families grew close, and soon Michael was making music with Andrew and his brothers Tim and John in their garages. After transferring to Davidson High, they became serious about forming a band, later joined by Kirk Pengilly and Gary Beers. Michael's parents separated in 1974, and he moved with his mother to Los Angeles, attending North Hollywood High while she worked as a makeup artist. In 1976 they returned to Sydney, and Michael reconnected with Andrew, joining his band Dr. Dolphin, before becoming lead singer of the Farriss Brothers. They debuted in 1977 at a Whale Beach party and, in 1978, relocated with the Farriss family to Perth, driving across the desert in an old station wagon. There they worked hard rehearsing, writing, and playing gigs, including in some rough mining towns of the northwest. Michael, who had no formal vocal training, developed a distinctive baritone that suited the group perfectly. By 1979, back in Sydney, they adopted the name INXS and began recording, performing in pubs and clubs, and attracting growing media attention. INXS's rise began in earnest when regularly supporting hard rockers like Midnight Oil on the pub rock circuit, and they performed for the first time as INXS on the 1st of September at the Oceanview Hotel in Toukley. Their debut single, Simple Simon, was released in May 1980, followed by their first Australian Top 40 hit, Just Keep Walking, that September. That same year, they released their debut self-titled album and began relentless touring, building a reputation as a dynamic live act. Michael quickly became the band's charismatic spokesman, co-writing almost all the songs with Andrew Farriss, who composed much of the music. Their second album, Underneath the Colours, in 1981, was largely written in a short creative burst, and shortly after its recording, Michael ventured into his first solo project, recording Speed Kills with Don Walker for Scott Hicks's 1982 film Freedom. Despite his inherent shyness, Michael's magnetic charm and flirtatious ease drew people to him, whether on stage, as a friend, or as a lover. Around this time, he met his first serious partner and poetic muse, Michelle Bennett. Their relationship was intense, exciting, and deeply honest, lasting several years. Michelle provided stability amidst the chaos of touring life, but the strain of Michael's rising fame eventually drove them apart after 5 years. They remained extremely close, with Michelle continuing to be one of the most grounding influences in his life until the end. By the mid-1980s, INXS's profile was rising steadily. The Swing, in 1984, and Listen Like Thieves, in 1985, marked international breakthroughs, with Listen Like Thieves paving the way for their greatest success, Kick, in 1987. Packed with hits like Need You Tonight, and Never Tear Us Apart, Kick sold millions worldwide, spent 2 years on the charts, and propelled the band into arenas across the globe. Michael's live, electrifying stage presence became central to their appeal, amplified by the emerging music video era, with MTV showcasing his good looks and charismatic performances to an international audience. While INXS was at its commercial peak, Michael pursued acting, most notably in Richard Lowenstein's Dogs in Space, in 1986, and explored musical collaborations. In 1989, during a band hiatus, he joined forces again with Lowenstein's associate Ollie Olsen to form MaxQ, producing a critically acclaimed but commercially underwhelming album that allowed Michael to explore darker, more experimental sounds. Around this period, he began a high-profile relationship with Kylie Minogue, a romance that fascinated the press. Michael's influence pushed Kylie toward a more daring, adult image, while she inspired some of his lyrics, marking another significant chapter in both his personal life and artistic evolution. After his relationship with Kylie Minogue, Michael was briefly linked to American singer Belinda Carlisle, before beginning a serious relationship with Danish model Helena Christensen from 1991 to 1995. During this period, INXS experienced reduced commercial success with LP Full Moon Dirty Hearts, particularly in the US, and the band took time off while Michael remained in the public eye through his romances. In late 1992, while cycling with Helena outside a pizza shop in Copenhagen, Michael refused to move for a taxi. The driver allegedly sucker punched him, causing him to fall and crack his skull on the curb. Blood ran from his nose and ears as he was rushed to hospital. Mistaken for being intoxicated, staff allowed him to check himself out. For a month, he remained in Helena's apartment in darkness, unable to function. Eventually, she persuaded him to let her personal doctor visit, and Michael underwent brain scans in Paris. A leading neurosurgeon diagnosed 2 large contusions and permanent damage to his frontal lobes, along with severed olfactory neurons connecting the nose to the brain. As a result, he lost his sense of smell entirely and 90% of his taste, a permanent condition called anosmia. Michael kept the effects of his traumatic brain injury, TBI, secret. The areas damaged are crucial for processing both smell and emotion, meaning he could no longer fully experience, process, or express feelings. For a sensual and hedonistic man, this loss was devastating. The pleasures of food, wine, sex, and later, the smell of his newborn child, were all muted. He described feeling trapped in his own head, experiencing disassociation and a kind of bodily claustrophobia. The injury triggered months of erratic behavior, mood swings, and severe depression in an otherwise calm and composed man. While the concussion healed, the TBI remained, causing emotional turmoil, unprovoked rage, difficulty expressing himself, and bouts of uncontrollable tears. Friends and family testified to the profound impact, including an elevated risk of self-harm associated with long-term TBI-related depression. In the mid-1990s, Michael began work on a self-titled solo album. After a period of inactivity and mixed reviews, INXS returned in 1996 with their 10th album, Elegantly Wasted, which performed moderately well in Australia, number 14, Canada, number 14, and the UK, number 16, but only reached number 41 in the US. Around this time, he began a relationship with writer, TV host, and music journalist Paula Yates. By their famous Big Breakfast interview in 1994, Paula was 19 years into her marriage to Sir Bob Geldof, with whom she had 3 daughters, while Michael's 4-year relationship with Helena Christensen was ending. In 1995, Paula divorced Geldof and moved in with Michael, bringing her daughters. Soon after, she fell pregnant, and Michael was instantly besotted with their baby, Tiger Lily. However, Paula's bitter public custody battle with Geldof cast a shadow over their lives. When a small amount of opium was allegedly found in their London home, they were hounded by the tabloids, and both struggled with escalating drug and alcohol abuse. Though the charges were dropped, Geldof won temporary custody of his daughters, but not Tiger Lily. In November 1997, on the eve of a world tour, Michael arrived in Sydney and checked into the Ritz-Carlton under the alias Mr. Murray River. He planned to clean up and had arranged an interview for Paula to become an Australian TV presenter so the family could relocate away from the UK press. But when Paula called to say Geldof was delaying the girls' trip so they could finish school, she refused to leave without them. The plan fell apart, leaving Michael devastated. That night, he phoned INXS manager and close friend Martha Troop in New York, leaving a distressed message saying he'd had enough. He also called ex-partner and confidant Michelle Bennett, who lived nearby. At 9:54 a.m. the next morning, a tearful Michael told Michelle he was upset, and she said she'd come over immediately. 26 minutes later she knocked at his hotel door, but there was no answer. Believing he had fallen asleep, she left a note at reception for him and went home. Sadly, at 11:57 a.m. on the 22nd of November 1997, at the age of 37, Michael Hutchence was found dead by hanging, in his room by a maid. Actress Kim Wilson was the last person to see him alive the previous evening. The post-mortem found high blood alcohol levels, along with small amounts of Prozac, diazepam, and cocaine. It also revealed the major brain damage from his 1992 bicycle accident, likely worsened his depression. On the 6th of February 1998, New South Wales coroner Derek Hand ruled Michael had been severely depressed and had taken his own life, though alternative theories persist. Over the course of INXS and Michael's career, they achieved remarkable success both in Australia and internationally. They released 10 studio albums during his lifetime, selling over 60 million records worldwide. Kick alone sold more than 20 million copies and produced 4 US top 10 singles, a rare feat for an Australian band. INXS won 6 ARIA awards, including induction into the ARIA Hall of Fame in 2001, and received 3 Brit Award nominations. Michael himself was honored with the Best International Artist Award at the 1991 Brits, cementing his status as a global star. The band also won 5 MTV Video Music Awards, including Video of the Year in 1988 for Need You Tonight, further solidifying their dominance in the MTV era. By the mid-1990s, INXS had earned a reputation as one of the world's premier live acts, headlining stadiums and festivals across continents. Michael was cremated and his ashes were divided into thirds between his parents, his siblings, and Paula Yates and their daughter, Tiger Lily. Part of Michael's ashes were buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, while another portion was scattered into Sydney Harbour's Rose Bay on what would have been his 38th birthday. A tombstone was placed at Northern Suburbs Memorial Gardens in North Ryde, and Paula Yates kept her share inside a cushion she slept with each night. And there you have it. Though Michael is no longer with us, his distinctive voice, magnetic stage presence, and songwriting legacy continue to inspire musicians and fans alike, all around the world. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Take care and bye for now.